Next up on court, we have Tim Brown on the left on the near side with the green cap, playing with Andrea Melisi, the Australian-Italian pair based out of Sydney. They are into the quarterfinals to play the team that knocked them out of Jakarta last week. On the far side, Marc Bernils in the blue, the left-hander. He's ranked, I think, 8 in Catalonia, and his partner, Sergi Nogueras, ranked, I think, in the 170s in the world. One APPT title to their name, same as Tim. Jakarta for Marc and Sergi. HoChiMinh for Tim. Andrea yet to gain his first. We'll just take a look at the draw. We can see we have one semi-final already decided, an all-Spanish affair coming up tomorrow. Joaquin and Dani playing Xavi and Jose. That'll be a goodie, as they just spoke about in the interview. The winner of this one will play the winner of the other one. Dani and Alex and Paul and Marc Monet will follow this one. The warm-up is over. The players will be coming back shortly to begin the match. Earlier on today, Tim and Andrea had a comfortable game against Singi and Manel. 6-1, 6-2 they won. An equally comfortable really for Sergi and Marc, beating Nam and Toma, based out of Vietnam, 6-3, 6-1. We'll be back in a moment when the players take to the court, but a very exciting match ahead. Okay, we are ready to get underway. Tim Brown to serve first on the near side. And it's a good serve into the glass. 15 love, an early fist bump from Tim. You'll know every single point is crucial if they are to get the victory today. Nice return from Sergi off the glass. Just pushed wide from Marc Bernils there. 30 love and the fist pumping from Tim again. Andrea was ready to smash that one, but it didn't make its way over the net. 40 love now. And so far, a comfortable service game for Tim and Andrea. Just out on the serve. Did look out from here. Beautiful whip backhand from Sergi. Just long. Sergi first to call it. 1 love for Tim and Andrea. And just the start they were looking for. Players taking a wide berth as they change ends. Maybe that fire in the belly still present from last week. Matty?
We've got two very interesting game styles here. We've got Tim and Andrea both from Australia, who play with a lot of energy, passion and sort of determination when they play. Andrea also with speed. And we've got Marc and Sergi, who play a lot slower, a lot more paddle sort of style as well. So it's a really interesting battle in the two styles, how it matches up today.
Marc Bernils serving first. Big slap attempt, and that's a lovely smash from Marc Bernils. Beautiful kick spin on that one. Taking advantage of the balls whilst they're fresh. And 15 love. And we have our first moment of controversy in the match, our first debate.
John Grayson, Jack Cruz, Johnny Nguyen, Abdullah.
And that one's out.
Record.
So 30 love for Marc and Sergi. At the next change of ends, we'll have a little bit of chat about why there is a bit of spice between the two pairs. If you were listening earlier when we spoke to Tim, we did allude to it. Whips that one up nicely. Sergi with a kick smash, but not too fast. Tim stuck at the back. There's a Chiquita. Andrea judging that nicely off the fence. Marc sends this one up into orbit. Tim underneath. And into the feet of Sergi. Can't rescue that one back in play. I think just wide. 40-15. Marc happy to watch that one go by. Seems to be accepted by Tim and no fist bump, so I'm guessing they lost the point. Oh, beautiful touch there, waiting for the ball nicely. Andrea doing well in it, but not well enough. Sergi keeping his cool, sending it past the racket of Andrea. And it's 1-1. No breaks. I'm David, I'm your commentator. Pleasure to be with you. I think my Instagram handle just popped up on the screen for you there. Feel free to give me a follow. Padel_commentator. Andrea, a nice volley. Well defended by Marc Bernils. Andrea gambled there and it almost went past his head. The point continues. That's wide from Tim. Love 15. Just landing in there from Sergi somehow. Tim was in a bit of a panic what to do, but he kept his cool. And that's 15. Oh. Beautiful cross court from Tim and a big come on shout from him there. Pumped to win that point. 30-15 it is on the serve of Andrea Melisi, the Italian. I think that's out from Sergi. Having a look at the court, a funky bounce to blame. Shrugs the shoulders, not quite sure what happened, but something went wrong. Oh, kiddo, trying to get the ball back in play for us there. It was a good effort. And 40-15. As I say, 2 game points. First one into the net. Good shot again from Tim into the feet of Sergi as he approaches the net. And it's another hold of serve, 2-1 for Tim and Andrea. Matty, what are your thoughts so far?
So yeah, well, interesting enough, they're lobbing a lot to Tim at the moment, and Tim's playing his rouleau straight to Sergi in the left corner here. So definitely trying to work that as a pattern to try and get Sergi in towards the net. Very different conditions. We mentioned they played last week. They played indoors in Jakarta. This court, obviously, the ball's bounced a little bit lower, whereas last week the ball bounced a lot higher off the surface there. And we talked about it had a bit of a controversy last week. I think
Indeed,
it was
we did.
2-2 in the first set.
Yeah, very early in the first set there was a ball which Andrea stretched an arm out for. And he got the ball back. Marc and Sergi stopped playing, thinking it was either a double bounce or a double hit. I'm not quite sure what. And I think there was a little bit of confusion in the discussion whether it was a double hit, a double bounce. Tim and Andrea claimed it was neither. The Spaniards convinced it was one of those two. And it went on and on and on, and the referee came over and still a solution couldn't be found. I'm still not quite sure what the solution was in the end, if it was a let or if the point was given to someone. But from that moment on, there was certainly a bitter taste in the mouth for both sets of players, and that then became controversy over close calls, a bit of gamesmanship, both sets of players delaying the play whenever possible to put each other off. And it all just led to a bit of a war of words rather than a war of paddle, which is not really what we want to see. But in the end, Marc and Sergi held their nerve, as we know, to win 6-4, 6-4, and they're 15 love up in this game here. Nice shot by Tim. Oh, gee, how did Marc even get a racket on that? I don't know, but he did. Couldn't get it in, though. 15-0. Good volley into the double glass from Andrea. Oh, just lands in from Tim again there, but well done, Sergi, keeping his composure once more to win the point. Perhaps a little nod of respect there from Marc, acknowledging that was some pretty good defense there from their foes. Just landing in there beautifully down the line from Sergi. Caught me by surprise, so well done, Andrea. Just landing in, Tim almost stopped playing. Not sure if he got that one right or not. He's under this. Focusing most of their efforts on Sergi at the moment. And into the net from Tim as he looked to get that one down into the feet of Sergi once more. 40-15 for the Spaniards. Looks like they're trying to keep Marc out of it as much as possible.
Yeah, and it's noticed then Sergi lobbing a lot to Tim, especially in these conditions, it's so dark. It's really hard to see that ball when it goes so high up in the air. So I think we'll see that as a big pattern of play today. Nice hard high lobs, trying to return that smash like.
And there we go. Serve not returned from Andrea. 2-2. He doesn't like that ball. That's what was to blame. Swaps that one out. And it will be Tim Brown to serve for the second time in the match. 2-2. Lovely volley there from Sergi. Good hustle from Tim, but he couldn't get there in time. Love 15. Good decision from Tim there to leave that. Gets back sense of a high lob. And again, the fence doing the business for Sergi. That's a couple of times. He's hit a rouleau or some sort of overhead into the fence and it's popped up in the favour of the Spaniards. Nicely down the line from Marc, and he advances nicely. Stays down the middle, forcing Tim backwards calmly. Sergi accelerates, and again. It was a beautifully constructed point from the Spaniards. They had a couple of chances to accelerate, didn't take them, and then when Sergi felt the time was right, he put it into the net. 15-30. Ooh, just out from Marc. Again, looking for that tiny gap down the line. Tim's got a big reach with those long arms. Towards Marc there. He sends up a towering lob. Andrea, gets it back. Oh, and we've got our another moment of controversy at 2-2 in the first set. Much like last week. They're saying the ball definitely touched Andrea's top. Andrea's saying he don't think it hit him.
This was exactly the same time as last week as well.
Yeah, potentially even the same point as last week. 30-0, I mean, they're looking to us for some guidance. We haven't got a clue. It was on the wrong side of us. From what we hear, we think it's a replay of the point. One of the members of the APPT team, Pao, acting as the referee. I think he's decided on a point replay. It was 30-all, and it looked as though a let has been agreed. Oh, good defence from Marc, not once but twice. Gets it back, and he's keen for this one. Oh, unbelievable defence from all players. And that one, they call out. Sergi knew it was out. Marc didn't think it was. What a point. Well appreciated by the crowd there. Marc taking exception to the... We can't hear what's being said in the court. It's loud out here. Perhaps we should be turning the music off in the background for this one and hearing everything. But Marc certainly taking exception to the words or the gestures from his opposition there rather than the call. Tim back to the net quickly there. Sergi. Big smile on the face of Marc Bernils there. I think they might be targeting a player with these shots, perhaps trying to force it into the body rather than into the gaps. I've lost all track of the score. Chase one. And this already feels like a pivotal moment in the match. Whoever wins this game will certainly be getting a big old boost of confidence. Yeah, Marc first to call this one out. Good to see that sportsmanship still there. I think that's just the first serve for me. But again, I don't have the best view. Out, called. Yeah, lovely shot from Marc Bernils, and the gamesmanship's continuing there. Sergi telling him to calm down as he cupped his ear. I don't know, for me, you give as good as you get. If you're willing to shout, you've got to willing to receive. But perhaps a little bit too much over the line there. Marc composes himself. Just out. It seems like every point is a moment of controversy here at the moment. I think the crowd are laughing at what they're seeing. Every single point a moment of controversy. Add in after just two. So the next point would be golden. Tim going to the backhand serve. A wry smile on the face of Marc Bernils as well. No problem with smiling. Again, he goes for that gap. They're attacking Tim's corner. Defending admirably so far. And they continue. I think Andrea could take a seat at the moment. No, they do go to him. Oh, and into the net from Marc. I think that fist bump, nothing wrong with that one, away from the opposition. And they do get the hold. Crucial. 3-2 they lead, still no breaks. And you can see Sergi going over to have a chat with the opponents already. Marc, speaking of Pau, who's now become match referee, I don't think he'll be leaving the side of the court anytime soon as this continues. Matty.
So what Sergi is saying is that I think one of the guys to Tim showed a fist bump,
Yeah.
and he thought it was in the direction of him, but it was actually in the way to Andrea. So Tim and Andrea are really proud to win that game after being down, so a bit of emotion. I think Sergi might have been a bit disappointed they didn't break there. They had a few chances at the juice, so really big hold for Tim and Andrea in that game.
Need to regain their composure for sure. All four players actually, because they were playing those points with so much emotion. I think in a couple of points it had actually sort of almost increased their ability levels. They were getting everything back, but you can't probably play on that emotion the entire match.
The level was actually really high there. Great defence by all four players, and also transitions towards reactions. So the level of this match has been really, really high so far. I'm sure it will continue to stay at that level.
Two-three, Marc Bernils to serve. Flips the net and goes out. In the middle on the second serve. Lovely volley. Andrea does well. Marc covers beautifully. And he's back in time for that. And a little nonchalant flick of the wrist. Was not the right shot choice there. Sergi lets him know that. Love 15. Beautifully down the middle. He goes for the biggie, doesn't catch hold of it, and that's through the legs of Sergi. And Love 30. Yeah, lovely shot from Sergi there, well angled. A little bit too high on the return from Andrea, but it was a good first serve, putting him under pressure. $15-30. 9:37 at night here in Singapore. Still a big crowd watching the Cage Paddle Tribe. Tim taking his time, drying his hands on the glass, much to the dismay of Marc Bernils, as you can imagine. Yeah, nice shot from Sergi. Great change of direction. Quick to say sorry in case anyone thought he was going for the body there, but I think that was a good play. As he advanced to the net, they probably thought he was going to go down the middle, but he didn't. Yeah, lovely from Sergi. Pops that out of the court. And 40-30. So Love 30 to 40-30. Very well done from the Spaniards. Tim popping the ball off the glass a couple of times there just to give him a few extra seconds to regain his composure ahead of the next point. Good shot overhead. Off the racket of Tim. He's just checking if I'd left that. Would you have had that, Andrea? I think he might have done. We're 3-3. We had a game with no controversy. Unusual in one of these Tim Andrea versus Marc and Sergi matches. Let's see what happens next. 3-all. Both players go for that one in the middle. Great recovery from Marc. Not once but twice. Big smash from Andrea into the feet of Sergi. A hand of apology from Andrea was up already. No, not many looks going back towards him from the opposition. Another hand there accepted by Sergi. Super footwork from Sergi. Oh, that might have gone out, I think. Tim chose to play it into the net, 15-all. Oh, Marc had gone to the net nicely and he's got a wry smile on his face once more. I feel like I might be saying that phrase a few times in this match. But it's nice to see a smile on the paddle court in the heat of the battle. Just lands in. Andrea doing well to get that out of the sight of Marc. He had a little bit of a spin and a hit and hope, but not enough. 40-15. Good from Marc just to get a racket on it, but Tim pops it out by 4, and it's 4-3. Still no breaks in the first set. Just out on the first serve there from Sergi, 3-4 down. Sergi Nogueras. Pity for Andrea, his return was sublime, just creeping in. Just good. Tim wasn't sure, he looks to his old teammate Shungo, who said it was good. I think Tim was thinking about challenging it just to wind him up more, but he chose not to. Happy to accept the call eventually. Good spin there. Beautiful drop shot from Marc, catches them off guard. It's a sublime touch there, and a 30-love lead early in the game. High lob from Sergi. Tim goes for the big one. Just so calmly defended by Sergi, and they advance to the net, and they just power drive forehand volley. Just landing in. A nod of appreciation from Tim. I think they're happy to hit him in the body and to win the point that way, but dearie me, that's fantastic play. The acceleration from Sergi was phenomenal. Not on that one though. Into the net. Yeah, commentator's curse for me there. 40-15. A really impressive game, and that will seal it. Going for the Chiquita on the return, Andrea. But into the net. 4-4. And this is really the squeaky bum time of the set. At 4-4. You don't want to get broken here. A nervy moment. First serve just out, second serve coming now from TB, Tim Brown. Andrea back under the high ball. Happy to just send lob after lob, the Spaniards. Very patient play. Bit slower that one. And another one. Marc, beautiful angle there. What a point this is. Oh, behind the back from Marc Bernils. Unbelievable. It stayed in. Oh, there's a big smash. And it's out of the play. Marc Bernils. Round of applause for that man. Superb stuff. And there might be play of that quality needed to get a break in this tight first set. That was absolutely wonderful. I think all of us thought the point was over, but
About 5 times.
yeah, about 5 times someone says next to me. But he thrust out an arm behind his back and just perfect contact on the ball. Again, first service goes long, second serve coming now. Andrea under now. Marc happy to send this one high. Not too deep. Tim happy to let it bounce. Marc reads the play well. He's there to volley. Lovely shot from Andrea. Sergi uses the back glass. He's in defence again. And really, Marc and Sergi have switched on here, taking their play to another level. Tim and Andrea struggling to find a way to break through their defences at the moment. And that's lovely poaching from Marc as Tim looked to go back cross court. And Marc with a beautiful calm volley. Must have been tempted to smash that one hard, but he kept his composure beautifully down the line. Noticing also Andrea just crept forward, maybe anticipating the hard ball. Great court awareness. Bahada from Tim, nicely covered by Marc. Oh, and he went to gamble. He's back in position now. Sergi plays a beautiful Bahada in. Andrea defends that wonderfully well, and he just flicks a wrist at that, staying in. Swap side, beautiful angle from the players. Excellent point again. What a match of paddle we have here. This is phenomenal stuff. Phenomenal stuff. 15-30. There's still a lot of work for Tim to do, but look at how hard they had to win that 1 point there. Marc and Sergi's defence has just gone up to another level we haven't seen yet. Andrea on the back track. Sends that one long, 15-40, 2 break points. At 4-all, the business end of the set, not the time to get broken. Squeaky bum time, as I said. First break point underway. And Marc's there. They're both arriving at the net, transitioning wonderfully well. Andrea does well. Tim too. And Marc snatches at that one a little bit. It's probably the first mistake of the game from either Sergi or Marc. And 1 break point saved. There you are. I've got butterflies in my stomach just watching at the moment. Goodness knows how the players are feeling defending break points. But the defence is unbelievably admirable so far. Between the legs. Oh, he almost did it again. Marc from behind the back. A well-directed attack from Tim towards the feet of his opponent. And we're at juice 1, 2 break points defended. 2 break points saved. Tim under this one. Marc doing so well just to get rackets on those. Never mind get it back. Tim definitely directing his fist bumps away from the opposition this time. Marc throws his hands out in disgust at something, not sure what, but he's always got a reason to complain. Great. And that's long. Hold serve. Saving 2 break points, sorry. 5-4, no breaks yet in the first set somehow. 4-5. Well done, Tim Brown. Andrea did well to get there. Not quite sure what happened there with the Spaniards. Kind of stopped playing. Love 15. The Spaniards wait patiently to serve. That one's in. Beautifully done by Marc. A great effort from Tim to get there, but he couldn't do so. 15-0. Sergi into Tim, into the gap from Marc. Andrea, beautiful defence. Again, wonderful backhand lob. He's playing out skin at the moment, Andrea, once more. Down the middle, and the dive almost gets there. Great play from both sets of players. But well done, I suppose, in the end by Sergi and Marc. Got there nicely into the corner, and that's out from Marc, out of the court rather than out of bounds. But yeah, win the point. 40-15, I think, after the Love 15 start. They recovered well, and they've got game points to bring it to 5-5 in the first set. Oh, dearie me, Marc sends this one up, takes his eye off the play completely. That's the hold. Marc and Sergi bring it back to 5-5. A little camera there. And they've let the emotion of the previous game go, and the missed opportunities to break.
Alex Parker, Adam Weiss, Fabien, Paulsen. Please, blue close, thank you. Alex Parker, Adam Weiss, Fabien, Paulsen.
Into the net from Sergi, puts his head in his hands. Can't believe that one.
Ball number 2, you.
15 love.
Power Jess. Power Jess.
What a rally this is. Oh, he takes the clip. Great dig out twice. And they're under pressure, but he puts it long. Round of applause from his partner towards him there. Nice to see. $30 love. Nice touch there. Marc comes across the cover. Just in again from Sergi. And that's a good volley. Marc and Sergi having a little giggle after that one.
Alex Parker, Adam Wise, Fabian, and TC Paulsen, please. Blue court, thank you.
30-15 on the serve of Andrea. 5-5 first set. Just clarifying the score, thumbs up. All in agreement, good to see. Shot from Tim, well adjusted from Sergi. Getting that back in nicely at Tim's feet, who maybe thought he had a little bit more time than he actually did. 30-all. What a big point this is at 5-all. Just digs it back, it's just over the net. Oh, he goes down the middle, Tim. Marc was able to dig it out. Oh, and he's put it wide, Marc Bernils. He went for the gap, but he overcooked it. And it's 40-30 for Andrea and Tim. They're 1 point away from 6-5. They're having to work hard for every single point, so it's not a given. Nice from Sergi. Lovely touch from Andrea, and tried to whip that cross court, Sergi. Into the net, got it wrong. Marc's quick to encourage him. And it is a hole, Tim and Andrea. They've guaranteed themselves at least a tie break. But it's 6-5 to the Australian-Italian combo against the Spaniards. Five-six, Sergi Nogueras to serve. Second serve coming next. Behind the back from Sergi. As he tried to manufacture the ball back in play. Andrea there to pounce. Love 15. And what an opportunity Tim and Andrea have to win the set. 6-5 up, love 15. If they can squeeze another point now, there would be real pressure on the Spaniards and no room for error. Just landing in from Tim, he's fast to the net. Plays that nicely into the gap. And Marc doesn't get enough purchase on it, it is love 30.
Andrea, Yasin, Rohan, Juan, and Wise, please, tournament desk.
And if it was squeaky bum time before, it's even squeakier now. 5-6, love 30. Long on the first serve. lob from Andrea just lands in right in the corner. Sergi puts a lob of his own in. Bahada coming. Controlled from Sergi. Sky high. Oh, and it's into the net from Sergi. Love, 40-3 set points for Tim and Andrea, as they look to cause one heck of an upset. I think if the music wasn't playing, we'd feel a bit of a hush coming around the people watching, realising what a big moment in the match this is. Goes for a little extra pace on the serve, but it's into the net from Sergi Nogueras. Tim gets this one back. Good reactions. Lovely shot again. Tim happy to play defence here. I think it's just going to be lob, lob, lob. Force the opponents to win it. And that's a beautiful shot from Marc. Tim on the full stretch dive. Just called long there. Still 2 set points remaining. Tim defends that well, but he can't get that one. A beautiful volley into the backhand from Sergi Nogueras, and 2 break points, set points saved. First serve into the net again, looking for some spice on it, a bit of extra zip. Beautiful return, and the lob from Andrea into the gap.
Court number 2, please start the match.
And he wrong foots them all. Andrea's claiming it was over the net. Well, I think well played. Nothing from the ref, standing right on the net line, so he would have had a clear view if someone had reached over the net there. It was a great defensive effort. There was a big gap on the court for Marc to put the ball in. He put it where they weren't expecting, wrong footing them both, and set himself up an easy smash out. 3 set points, 3 break points saved. Love 40 recovered to juice. Calmly down the middle, chance for Tim to attack, and that's a beautiful touch. Just lands in. Double-handed backhand down the middle. Marc's back with that one. There's a big smash. Defended nicely a few times, and Andrea's happy with that one. Bringing about a 4th break point, a 4th set point. And they played that one well. .10:05 in the evening here in Singapore, as Tim trots off the court to get his towel. Marc obviously letting Pau know that he shouldn't be doing so. Pau with a little word to Tim. And I mean, I personally feel that's a bit of gamesmanship. I could be wrong. It is sweaty, but choosing to do that at set point is very controversial indeed. Just sneaks in on the second serve. Down the middle from Sergi, and it's a beautiful bahada. Neither Tim nor Andrea could get that one back with dry hands or sweaty hands, so just 2. They'll be keen to win this point, the serving team. They won't want to face a break point and a golden point, so they'll look to get their noses in front here. Just long on the serve though. Second serve coming from Sergi Nogueras. Down the middle, super low at the ground there from Marc Bernils. Wonderful bandeja. Sometimes it's the simple shots that win you the point, rather than the explosive fancy ones. And they do have a game point to force a tie break. Good return from Tim. He's fast in the net. That's a lovely lob over Andrea. Down the middle once more. Sends up a high lob. And that's into Tim on the volley. Good change of direction. And it was a nice shot from Marc Bernils. 6-6. We've arrived at a tie break. I suppose it felt inevitable. Marc and Sergi perhaps having to work harder than expected. You never know. To clinch this first set. And they certainly had the upper hand in the contest last week. Six all. Don't forget, folks, once this quarterfinal is concluded, we have another one. Danny Hoyo and Alex Domenech versus Paul Alsina and Marc Monet. I hope they're having a nap at the moment, because it's going to be a late one. First point of the tie-break. Marc happy to let that one go through his legs. Nicely down the middle. Pops that one up for Tim. Long rally on the first point. Already it feels crucial when Marc puts that one on the backhand into the net on the stretch. And it's love one. Marc Bernils to serve. Just out. Second serve coming next. Oh, great stretch from Sergi. How did he control that? Superb stuff. And that's gone wide. A little fist pump from Tim to love the first mini break of the tie break. The first serve out once more from Marc Bernils. Love two. Nice angle from Sergi. Good composure from Tim. Just lands in. Tim has to jump high to take that, and that's high up in the air, let me tell you. Lovely volley into the corner, well defended, Andrea. Nice bandeja down the middle. Sergi having a good look at where his opponents are, goes down the middle, and that's long from Tim. He was there reading exactly where the ball would go, but he couldn't control it. The mini break still in their favour though, 2-1 they lead. Andrea to serve. A little chit chat, once again linking to Pau, the referee at the side of the court. And we don't know what that was about. 2-1. Oh, and Sergi can't get that one back. 3-1. Conversation all about the sort of sportsmanship of a call there, saying that the players are cheering when he missed it rather than when they won a point. Oh, 3-1, and a bit of luck there. Sergi returns the favour with a cry of come on in the direction of his opponents from the net cord. And they take a break. They're saying they're giving as good as they get. And there's definitely an edgy feeling to the match here. 2-3, the mini break recovered thanks to the net cord. I mean, it was a good shot. A little lucky. I just think we've got at least one more set of this ahead of us. The players will swap ends after the next point. Lovely volley from Sergi. Chance to smash. Tim gets it back. Oh, no, he doesn't. It's just out. And it's 3-all as the players change ends. And who's going to win this set? Still anyone's guess. I don't really feel there's momentum with anyone at the moment. But Marc certainly relaxed. Having a big smile in the direction of the crowd. All the players just taking a moment. Marc and Pau, the referee, having another conversation. I don't envy Pau, I'll be honest. He's not got an easy job at the moment, trying to ref this one. And the longer games goes on, I imagine the more tetchy it will be. Three-all. Sergi Nogueras to serve once more. Andrea somehow worked up. Forehand overhead there, Sergi. Tim happy to just lob and get it back at the moment. That's a bit shorter. Beautiful drop volley from Marc. Andrea hustles well to get there. Tim blocks well. Marc lifts it high. He digs that out, and Tim goes to the feet of Marc. Quick to say sorry, a thumbs up. Nice to see, and the mini break is back. (4-3) Tim and Andrea lead. And even with a mini break, you still feel that there's no real advantage. Tim serving to Sergi now. Tense, very tense. Bit of speed injected in. Oh, and a bit of confusion between the pair. Marc and Sergi weren't quite sure whose that was in the middle, and they almost got it back in the end, but it's 5-3. And this now you feel almost a must-win point for Marc and Sergi. They don't want to give set points away again. Beautiful volley. After a beautiful shot from Marc, he puts him into that gap again. It's lovely from Andrea. Oh, and again he finds that gap. Andrea, beautiful backtracking skills. Tim now in the corner. He digs that one out. Just make your opponents play one more shot. Takes the net cord. And oh, of all the choices, the double bluff from Tim. Marc tried to hit it into his body. Tim dodged out the way and it hit the glass. 6-3, 3-6. Sergi with a wry smile now as he knows what his teammate was doing. And it's 3 set points, I think once more. for Tim and Andrea. Taking their time before serving here. And again, Tim goes to dry his hands. I think Pau, the referee, might be stepping in if that's attempted once more. And there are built-in times for breaks, and this is not one of them. No, Sergi choosing to take a moment now as well. Says, well, if he can, I can. Dries his face. Marc Bernils still cool as a cucumber at the back of the court there. A little keepy up on his racket. Doesn't look like a man facing 3 set points. First serve is long. He's quickly back into it. Just in. Finest of margins there. And there's one set point save. 6-4. Tim and Andrea guaranteed at least one set point on their own serve here when they'll have the net to start the point. 4-6. Andrea lifts it nicely, and that is the set for Tim and Andrea. 7-4 in the tie-break. Second set to come. We're going to go and have a little break. The players will be back out shortly. So we are 40 love in the second game. Tim and Andrea with the early break in the second set. Points to make it 2 love, and all the momentum with them. That's a lovely shot from Sergi. To bring it back to 40-15. Matty's with me once more. Hello, Matty.
Hey David. So yeah, really big first set. It's really interesting that Tim and Andrea won the first 7 points of the second set here actually. They built a lot of momentum. Marc and Sergi have missed a few too many balls at the start of the second set, and Tim and Andrea are really applying the pressure here.
Oh, what a dig that is. Unbelievable from Marc Bernils to get that in. He comes to take this one. Plays it calmly. Tim sends up another high one. And again, gently. Beautiful attack from Sergi. Calmly down the line, and Andrea did his best to get it back, but he couldn't do so. Do you think the sort of controversy, gamesmanship surrounding the game, the tension getting the better of Marc and Sergi, are they letting that get to them a little too much, affect their emotions?
I think so. I thought they'd start this second set really well and really professionally, but yeah, they just looked like Marc played a drop shot serve the last game as well. Looks like they were just going through the motions a little bit that last game.
Oh, Marc, a Superman dive to keep that in. And he's back on his feet playing once more, and that's a beautiful Chiquita there. Dearie me. Tim sends that high. Again, Marc plays it calmly, and it's into the net. And Marc is on the floor in pain. After that one, the adrenaline of the point. Cramping potentially, or a knee injury, some sort of twist as he went down there perhaps. So we'll have a momentary pause in play. He's got a smile on his face. I think he'll be okay.
I think he's just in a well-earned breather there.
Oh, it's nice to see. Big hug between the pair. A little blood on the knee, perhaps waiting for a bit of first aid. Making his way back onto the court now. A little sore bit on his right hand, fortunately not his playing hand. And they're looking for a little first aid kit and some plasters or band-aids, as the Americans will call them.
And Aussies as well.
And Aussies.
We call them that.
Now why, mate?
We call them what, plasters in the UK?
Yeah, a wee plaster. Juice one, signalled by Andrea. And we're back underway.
Okay, on the court number 3, we have Adrian Roa and Joan Weiss.
Tim back for this one. Juice one gets it over. That's a beautiful backhand from Sergi. Just clips the net. And he lifts that over Andrea. Tim sends up a huge... Oh, what a shot from Marc. Sergi's across. They're swapping sides. What an angle. When it takes the net cord. Oh, and he gets it back. Oh, you've seen it all now. Andrea delighted with himself, that one. Phenomenal play, both sets of players. Marc with a cheeky holding up of the racket.
Our Jess.
position.
Superb coverage in defence. And game point once more for Tim and Andrea. Sergi calm. Under pressure there. Sends up a high ball. Tim plays it into him. Beautiful angle. Marc. Ah, it's excellent from Marc Bernils there. So clever. Again, Andrea expecting the ball to go down the middle. He started to shift over. Marc saw the gap appear and he popped it in. Big skid from Andrea trying to get there, but just two. That's just going to land in. Andrea gets there. Sends up a high ball. And again from Tim. Says if you want to break us, you're going to have to beat us. And here comes the Bahada into the net. Just the ball popped off the glass just a tiny bit ahead of him. Game point once more. Going into the net once more, and they do get the hold. 2-love for Tim and Andrea. And they had to work very, very, very hard indeed for that one. From a 40-love position, they almost, I wouldn't say threw it away, had it stolen away from them. Matty.
Yeah, huge game to win that. 40-love up. Actually, Marc and Sergi played a lot more composed those last few points. Playing Chiquitas down to feet, looking for the volley. But a really big hold from Tim and Andrea there. I suggest Marc and Sergi need this game now to stay in this second set.
Absolutely. A set down and a breakdown. They're by no means out of it, given the talent that they have. Good hustle from Tim. Marc's gotten it back. Much too. What a shot that is to. Dearie me. I don't think Tim could believe that that ball came back there. I think he thought the point was well and truly over. Plenty of spin on this one. Just out. Well judged from Marc Bernils. And they needed that one. Good start to a game that they must win, as you heard Matty say just a moment ago. Sergi back for this one. Oh, and he goes for that backhand Chiquita into the top of the net. They're still going for their shots. 15-0. That's clipped the net. Sailed out. Beautiful angle on the volley there. Timid. Had a sneaky little advance to the net, but it turned out not to be the right move. Sergi spotted it, and he was too good for him there once Tim was out of position. 30-15. That's long from Tim on the block volley, trying to defend the Bahada. But he got it wrong. 40-15. Ooh, and he went off the side glass there, Sergi. He looks at the glass like it did something wrong. 40-30. Big smash from Marc, seals the game. 2-1 for Tim and Andrea, and the players will get a well-earned break. They were on court a long time there. Matty,
yeah.
Try and explain this.
Well, simply the first three games here, I think Tim and Andrea have just done the basics well. Made the returns, got into the net, and done nothing too special. Marc and Sergi have been a little bit flary the first two games. Some things have come off, some things have not. It's going to be a real battle if Marc and Sergi can maintain their level throughout the set. We know what Tim and Andrea are going to do. They're going to get the ball into court, to be very focused and determined on the court. Let's see if Marc and Sergi can maintain that level and keep playing paddle, or if the steadiness of Tim and Andrea shines through here.
And you obviously know Tim and Andrea very well from Australia. Is this a level of paddle you've seen from them before? Is this something extra they're producing?
They're both very talented players. Andrea is a very skillful tennis player from Italy. Tim is one of the most determined people I know. So definitely the level they're playing, even from last week, is a lot higher this week. I think the conditions are suiting them this week, with the ball bounced a little bit lower. So Marc and Sergi can't pop the ball out enough, but definitely Tim and Andrea's level has risen this game, and their competitive spirit is really showing through here.
Absolutely. A little bit of chat about grip spray at the moment. They're speaking to one of their fellow competitors, trying to borrow some from him to deal with the sweaty hands. But the break between games now going on a little bit too long, I would say. Pau, the referee, might have to step in shortly and get the players back on court. Some people have homes to go to. It's just about to tick 10:40 p.m. at night here in Singapore. This game early in the second set, we could easily go 3 sets. There's another quarter-final to come after, and a few more matches on the other courts as well.
It was interesting. It was interesting last week when we played. Marc and Sergi had Alex Bouchol talking to the guys between the set, just trying to work in between them as like a mediator. We see this now with Joaquin. I think Marc and Sergi have very different characteristics and personalities as players. So what we see is Joaquin now maybe talking maybe patterns of play or what they're trying to do on the big points, just trying to help them, guide them through this set now.
Still no sign of the players making their way back onto the court. I think Andrea asking that as he actually appears first. Tim still happily in his seat. Marc still not dressed, so we're not going to see him anytime soon. He puts on a fresh top.
For you, David, what's been the biggest difference this week compared to the match last week?
Well, I wasn't fortunate enough to commentate on the match last week. We were watching it. We were commentating a different match, and that was on the court nearby. So yeah, we didn't get the full view of what was happening. But from what I did see, honestly, I just think losing the first set really took the wind out the sails of Tim and Andrea. I think they had full belief. I think they knew they were against players with potentially superior talent and superior paddle experience. And they knew it was an uphill battle from the word go, and it would be a sort of a shock result if they won. And I think they were full of belief. They hung in really well in that first set. The couple of moments of controversy only spurred them on. And I think, yeah, just it was a bit of a body blow to lose the set, and they never quite recovered. They felt like they were always chasing, and I also think the confidence was high for Marc and Sergi after they won. Aside from that, I didn't see the finer details, but we know what momentum and confidence can do in this sport. Anyway, back underway, and the first point goes the way of Sergi and Marc. A big hand around each other. That's a bit more positive body language.
Yeah, and that's probably the first bit of positive body language we've seen for them in the last sort of 10 minutes or so. So that's a big plus for them. Maybe this influence that Joaquin has on the side will help them here.
Yeah, maybe similar to Alesh last week, just reminding them that they are better united than they are apart. They spoke last week in their interview after about the fact they didn't want to play as individuals on the court. They wanted to play as a team. Big smash from Andrea there, popping the ball out, and I think that's 30-15 in the game for the Italian and Australian combo. And he goes for the smash again. Sergi moved out the way of that one, thinking Marc might be on the charge, but he wasn't. (40-15), a little wiggle from Tim. As a bit of a dummy. Oh, Marc with a myriad of choices there. Could have put the ball anywhere, and that was the only place he did not expect to put it. So they've held on, 3-1, and we're already underway. Marc's in a rush. Frustrated at himself there, keen to make up for it. Second serve. And that's out. Love 15, a big puff of the cheeks. Too many mistakes creeping into his game for his liking. Tim almost slipping there. And yes, well noticed by Marc. Good smash into the corner that Tim had vacated, knowing he wouldn't be able to recover in time. Valiant effort from Andrea, but coming up short. Just long. Lovely drop shot. Tim does well to get there and put up a lob. Can't defend that one though on the volley. He says, leave the ball alone. Use the glass. He has to remember to compose himself. That's much better from Marc Bernils. High lob from Sergi Nogueras. Just clips the fence, forcing Tim into a lob of his own, and the Bajada touches the top of the net. Marc sinks to his knees, exasperated with himself there. The mistakes continue. (40-30) though, still a game point. Nice volley down the middle. Tim lifts this one high. They're going to Marc now, noticing a few errors in his game. This one over to Sergi. Good reaction, and there's a fizzing double-handed backhand. Lifted over his head wonderfully well by Marc. He's got that back. Unbelievable from Tim there. And Marc puts that out, and it's juice. A smile of surprise from Tim there. I don't think he can quite believe he got that one back over the net from a tight position in the corner.
This has gone from being like a technical and tactical battle now to a real physical and mental battle.
Yeah.
Who really wants it the most? Who wants to work the hardest to the point? Who can last the longest? Tim and Andrea showed great defence and resolution under pressure there.
That was out for me. That serve. Again, grins as they look to the referee at the side of the court. Not sure why this time. That was out, no? We're sat right behind the middle line here, and that was clearly out to us.
Perfect. We're perfect position.
Oh no.
But it doesn't matter what we say.
Not up to us. They're looking to us now, right behind, for what we think. It's not our call, so it doesn't really matter what we think. I think it's a first serve again. That juice. what a shot from Sergi. Oh, what a way to win the point. Punch of the air from Sergi Nogueras, and rightly so. It's had in. Superb skills at this stage of the match. Tired brains, tired bodies, still pulling out tricks like that. Phenomenal stuff. Nice touch. Once but twice by Marc. Just out.
Two or golden?
Two, I think.
We think juice 2. Good return from Andrea. Beautiful shot. Sergi's there. And that's a wonderful volley. Wonderful volley into the gap. Good defense from Tim. He's almost down. Oh, and it just landed in. He tried to jump back up and get it, but he couldn't do so. And they get the hold. 3-2 for Tim and Andrea. They will serve next.
That was a real crucial hold. If they'd have broke there 4-1, to be almost set over. But really big hold, and some big points there. Sergi defense, the one behind his back to win there, and some good points for Marc as well. So a crucial hold there from the Spanish player.
Absolutely. And the unbelievably high level continues long into the night here. We're lucky the last match is an all Spanish affair. They're used to playing late into the night, I think, so almost 11 o'clock, quite late for us, but it's just getting started the night for them, so.
And as we think now, as the matches last in longer, the balls are really heavy now, really tipped. So again, the ball's going to slow down and stay nice and low. So it's going to be all about how you defend under pressure here.
Yeah. You can see two of the tournament directors now at the side of the court. I think just talking about the time being taken, saying this has been a 3-minute changeover. That's what I'm guessing from the amount of fingers being held up by Alex. Fully charged. Fully charged. Another extended break from all 4 players. Tim and Andrea still lead 3-2. And remember, we are only in the second set. It's got a very deciding set feel about it, but it's not.
What time do we start this match at?
Haven't got a clue. But
It must be well over an hour and a half now. Probably pushing towards 2 hours, I'd suggest.
it's an absolute battle. And Marc just let that one go a little too high, slaps his thigh in frustration, knowing that he left Sergi exposed there, giving him no chance. 15 love. Oh, great disguise on that from Marc Bernils. Andrea does well to get it back over. He's just going to land in from Tim. I don't have a clue how he got that back, but he did. Marc's forward again. And Tim did really well putting it towards him. A big cry of delight. I think a fair one, not in the direction of the opponent there. Tim did well to win the point. We know how. We know how fragile the atmosphere is on court here. Just the slightest thing can throw it off. Wonderfully done by Sergi. Andrea was very tight to the net. Had no reaction time there at all. Just sneaks that back over Sergi. Oh, and a good bit of acceleration from Tim there. An extra bit of juice on that one. Does enough to win the point. 40-15 for Tim and Andrea, and they've just got to hold serve from now until it's over. That's their plan. And they've got 2 points to make that happen. What a return from Marc, what a volley from Tim. Oh, big Bahada coming towards the body of Andrea. 40-30. Still another game point. That just rolls away from the net. Marc strolls forward to pop it back in. He hops, skips and jumps back to his mark though. Staying back for this one. They scoop that up over Andrea almost. Marc dummies coming forward. Unbelievable defense. Sergi sneaks forward now. They both are. Into the backhand of Tim. He just looked like he had so much time. And Marc puts that into the net. Throws that in for chin. Big puff of the cheeks. And it is 4-2 for Tim and Andrea. They are one game closer. And if they get a straight victory, it would be a shock of the tournament, I would say.
Yeah, I think so. And in the end, they did the basics really well. They had nothing special, made the ball into play, held the net when they had to, and forced Marc and Sergi into mistakes there. So really solid and stable game from Andrea and Tim.
Oh, a lovely angle on the volley from Tim there. He has a word with someone in the crowd. Love 15. That one long from Tim. Puts his hands on his head. Doesn't want to give away any easy points here whatsoever. Tim hustles across to get that. He sends up a nice lob into the gap, and that's too good. I think Tim was expecting the swap, but Andrea didn't go. Good double class defense there. Tim just turning his wrist over on that one. That one just lands in. Sergi's there. Chiquita. Andrea controls it nicely. Neck cord, and it doesn't go in favour of Sergi and Marc. (40-30) Sergi and Marc, and what could be another crucial hold for them. I mean, yeah, clearly crucial hold, stating the obvious there, but
Davy, Boris, Matias, Pablo, court number 2.
lovely Bahada.
Quarterfinal
Nicely to the net, Tim. Marc, how's he controlling that?
with the players Davy, Boris, and Matias, Pablo.
Nicely done from Marc, well defended from Tim once more. Superb defence from Tim and Andrea here. Oh, and Tim goes on the attack and he gets it wrong. He got a little overexcited, a little over-exuberant. And the game goes the way of Marc and Sergi. They are not out of this yet. It is 4-3 in favour of Tim and Andrea, still with a break.
But we're getting into a real crucial stage now. Marc and Sergi have only got 2 opportunities left to try and break, so they've got to start these games a little bit better. A few games before, they started the returning games quite slowly. It might be whether they make more balls or actually try and do something different off return. But yeah, they've only got 2 opportunities left here to try and break, so this next game I would say is crucial now.
Absolutely, you don't really want to leave it to your last chance. That just piles more and more pressures upon your own shoulders. Andrea Melisi to serve. Marc across, rescuing that one. And into the net from Tim. And you said Marc and Sergi needed a better start to the game, and they've got that. 15 love.
Yeah, they used lob well. A little Chiquita and got control of the net there. So much better stability in defence there from Marc and Sergi.
I know, one of the first unforced errors we've seen from Tim in a long time as well. So fairly, I mean, what he would consider a fairly comfortable volley at the net. Not one he would have expected to miss. Just landing in on the line there from the serve. That's long. 15-0, but you can see a bit more bounce in the step of Marc Bernils. He knows this is the time. Big smile on his face, quick to forgive his teammate. Encourage him to move on. Beautiful play. And he's right there to control it. Marc! And he can't believe he's missed it. A hand on the mouth. Oh, what a shot. What a shot from Marc, and he had a little bit of afters. A few words in the direction of his opponents there. We don't really know if it's given a bit back or we don't know. Maybe just taking advantage of the fact that the ref has left the side of the court momentarily. And that's out from Andrea. And again, one of the first unforced errors we've seen from him in a long, long time. And all of a sudden, out of nothing, Marc and Sergi have they've forced that break point. Marc hurried back there, realising he wasn't in a good position at the net. Sergi happy to send up the lob now. And we've seen this a lot on the big points. The team in the ascendancy just happy to let their opposition win it rather than they are going to lose it. And so many lobs, so much patience. Oh, it's a good dig, and that's into the gap, and it's the break of serve from Marc Bernils and Sergi. And the game continues. Just as some people might have thought this game was edging towards conclusion, we might just be getting started.
Wow, and they showed their quality there.
Absolutely.
A couple of balls, that 30-all point, was it from Marc? That backhand cross-court winner. And then that last point to move Tim out of position, Sergi finished the volley. Phenomenal point there.
4-4. Tim's off drying the sweat. I think he's running the risk of a warning there. I think people are taking bets around the court on what time this match will finish, never mind who the winner will be. Starting to look like no one needs to use their hotel room on this visit to Singapore tonight, so we'll all be here, fresh-faced for the morning's action. Super stuff. Love. Marc Bernils. Oh. The funky bounce of the ball gifts a point the way of Marc and Sergi. We've not had many of them. Ooh. Well played. And it looks as though the arguments have all become a thing of the past between Marc and Sergi. All hugs. A lovely fake from Marc, but Tim gets across to cover. And there's the big smash. We haven't seen one of those in a while. And that's the game, 5-4. They went in having to break, and they did break, and they did hold, and now they're in the lead. 5-4 they lead. Marc smiling towards the crowd, happy with how things have turned around. What a turnaround. The last three games have been completely different. They showed a lot of composure there with working the smash, then Marc finishing the point in the end. But they're definitely the ascendancy now. Now, that last game, like we said, that first point was really crucial. There's going to be a big emphasis on this first point now, this next game. See if Marc and Sergi can keep this momentum here. Back underway, and Andrea gets that one right. (15) They don't want to get broken 2 times in a row and give away the set. Lovely slide and skiddy volley from Andrea, but well defended by Marc. Not once, but twice. And he'll attack this one. Andrea really good. But superbly done by Marc. And he's found someone he likes in the audience. And he's cheering in their direction. (15-0). I think the scoring is stopped on your screen. I didn't realise my colleague had just nipped for a little restroom relief. Oh, that's great play from Tim. Oh my goodness, I thought Marc was going to get it back there from... Oh, he's just felt a wee tightness in his thigh there in that extra effort. 30-15 for Tim and Andrea. That'll be a let first serve. Just snuck in. Oh, and Marc gets that one wrong. Looking a wee bit extra topspin on the ball. But it just got his angles wrong. And into the net. 40-15. Andrea does well. No, he doesn't. I think it was off the fence. He was the one shaking his head. 40-30. (40-30) in a second serve. Maybe Tim feeling the squeeze a little. Beautiful backhand up the line, and he's in for that one. I know if Andrea had got that back, that'd have been sublime, but he didn't. It was into the net. It was a great effort.
Great transition there for Marc, turning defence into attack. Great transition off that double-handed backhand using the volley. Something he does so well on the court.
Absolutely, yeah. And after we saw he was just feeling a wee tweak in his thigh, still moved very elegantly, actually, on the court.
For me, he's one of the best players here this week. Actually reads the game.
I think that was what you were saying about Gabo earlier in the first quarter-final, which feels like hours ago. I mean, it was literally hours ago, but... We're at juice. 1 point brings about a set point in favour of Marc and Sergi. And it just clips the fence. Marc happy to send up a lob. Bahada from Tim. He sends up a lob now. Just sneaks in. Nicely down the middle on the bandeja. Bahada coming. Indeed it does. He's back to the net. Andrea just pushes it. Tim down the line with a bit more aggression. Oh, and Andrea holds his head in his hands as that clips the top of his racket. And we do have a set point. And it's a break point. And it's in favour of Marc and Sergi. And they're having a little chit-chat. And now would be a funny time for them to go and clean their hands of the towel. Extract a bit of revenge, but they choose not to. Good to see. Referee Pau, very strict with them at the moment. Oh, and Tim saves the break set point with a nice shot. down into the fence. Sergi tried to get it before it hit the fence. He couldn't do so. And we're just one. Big smile from Marc there in the direction of his teammate. He's managed to shift that mentality into a much more positive one. And no surprise to see them then on the brink of the set there. That one's long though. Good serve into the glass. And from break point down to game point up, looking to bring it back to 5-5. Just creeping in, Andrea took it. Down the middle, Andrea again, great backhand. Tim across for this one. Sergio takes the net cord, and Tim, he might have had time to recover. The ball had slowed down completely, but he chose to try and a little flick from behind his back. Back to Juice. The tension continues. Golden. Set point. / game point. Such is the beauty of golden point. Tim Brown serving to Marc Bernils. Will we see a third set? Oh, fantastic from both players. Marc into the corner, and they win the set with the break on the golden point. And there was a celebration there from Sergi. I have no idea what it was, but Tim is on the floor. What a valiant effort it was to get the ball there, helped to his feet by Andrea, and we are 1-all, and the decider that we thought might come is now here.
Unbelievable defence from Marc in that corner there. Tim saw the opportunity for the volley and went for it, but Marc defended brilliantly well.
And the referee will do well to control the time taken between sets here. I think it was about 7 minutes between sets 1 and 2. I'm sure the players will be keen to take just as much time in between these two sets.
We've looked back to like 20 minutes ago. Tim and Andrea were set up 4-2 up and actually being competitive in that game. It might have been 15-30, but for them, Marc and Sergi to turn that from 2-4 down to win that set was a brilliant turnaround. It's good. How are you feeling?
I think about 150 of you watching at the moment. Thank you so much for tuning in from Southeast Asia, Pacific, or the rest of the world, wherever you are. Please do let us know in the comments on YouTube who you think is going to win this third set. We haven't a clue, so we'd like to know what you think. Couple of comments from earlier on. Someone saying, hi Matthew. Don't know who Matthew is. Xavi Benito reached the semis in the APPT Bali Social Club, if not wrong. Unfortunately, that is wrong. Yeah, that was the quarterfinals. It was a great match. Wasn't a semi-final, but I remember it well. Commentated on that one. Probably the match of the tournament, to be honest. Referring back to an earlier one there. Yeah, go on, give us a comment. Let us know who you think will win. Will it be Marc and Sergi, or will it be Tim and Andrea? There's a little poll going now on the YouTube. Who will win the third and final set? Marc and Sergi or Tim and Andrea? 3 votes in there. Please do add your vote. Highlights of the day. It's not over yet, but what's been the best so far?
There's been a few. One great example is the ladies' semi-finals that we had Tawi and Marion winning a close semi-final against Constanza in there. I think my main highlights though was seeing Gabo and Oliver. Gabo from Mexico, Oliver from Sweden. They won a titanic 3-set battle in their last 16 match today with Joseph and Ivan, and they backed it up with a superb performance in the quarter-final. I think the first set was 6-4, was that right? Really close game.
Yeah, I believe so.
So I think that was so far one of my highlights of the day in the ladies. But as a match, this has been definitely the highlight of the weekend, and probably over the last 2 weeks, one of the best matches we've seen in terms of quality, resilience, and also defense under pressure.
Absolutely, yeah. I think the final last week in Jakarta, the only one comparable in my memory. Sergi and Marc also involved in that one, beating Paul Alsina.
About to start the third set of the Central Court in this amazing quarterfinal.
And Marc Manet, yes, just pausing as the loudspeaker went over there. A good effort from Shane Marshall, the club owner, to get the windows nice and clean. Marc and Sergi ready to serve. Tim changing into a black top, making his way onto the court now. Is that a slight limp there? No. Maybe I'm just imagining that, but he did take a fall towards the end of that set. But the third set is now underway. And 15 love for Marc and Sergi. Well done, Andrea. Marc going for the big smash, but these balls must be as soft as a big ball of mozzarella now or something, so it's not going to bounce off the glass very well. It's been a long day. My use of metaphors is not what it was earlier this morning.
I was
But
going to say a haggis.
a haggis. A haggis. You ever had a haggis?
No.
No.
I've spent some time in Scotland, in Inverurie, Aberdeen, but never had a haggis.
Ah, there you go. Delicious. Spicy. The next time I'm home, I'll see if I can squeeze a haggis back in the suitcase for you. So. Good shot from Sergi into Tim Brown's legs. 40-30. Game point. And that's the game, 1-love, and the perfect way for Marc and Sergi to start. Tim and Andrea, body language definitely a little bit different, not as many fist pumps. They're not quite as bouncy on their toes. They almost look a little shell-shocked, I would say. I think they're also quite surprised they couldn't hang on for that second set.
Correct, and also I think Marc and Sergi now, their body language, they're ready to start the next game straight away. I think winning that second set has given them a massive confidence boost, and I think they look pretty confident they can actually win this third set now. Tim and Andrea, after being that 4-2 and a break-up in the second set, have got to fight really hard these first two service games just to stay in close contention in this third set now.
I know. And I tell you what, whatever the feeling is between the players, I think there's a huge amount of respect between them ability-wise. Marc and Sergi know they've been in a game here. Tim and Andrea the same. And whoever wins this now will be very deserving indeed. So, just out from Andrea.
Being too high.
Yeah. A couple of comments in the YouTube. Thank you very much for that. And Paul, the referee, went away for 10 seconds, and we've got controversy once again in the third set in the second game. Jamie, thank you so much for commenting. You think it would be good to see a Tim versus Paul rematch in the semis after watching them face each other in the final. That doesn't necessarily mean you think they'll win, just it would be good to see. I can remember Paul getting frustrated at Tim's antics in that match. Thank you for that, Jamie. Bruna with a red card and some popcorn in the comments there. At the moment, 23 votes cast. 64% of you think that Marc and Sergi, 2/3 of you, so 16 of the 24, by doing some quick maths, think that Tim and Andrea will lose the match, having been a set-up. And 100% of you think that all these controversial calls should end and the players should get on with the match. So we are in agreement in the commentary box. Ivan, thank you very much. Very kind of you to say so. You are the very best watchers, if that's any consolation for you. Thank you, Flacco. Fabian, very kind. I think we're also happy to admit we haven't got a clue what's going on now after that controversy. Well, they're not happy. Marc stands leaning against the glass with his hands on his hip. And he's straight back to the referee for another comment. He's still chattering away as Tim gets on with the next serve. Oh, good hustle from Marc to get back for that. Oh, and it's just off the net cord and it goes back onto his own side from Tim. Hello, Leandra. We're waving back. Thank you so much for all the comments, guys. Great to know who's watching. Sometimes it feels like we're just talking into this bit of plastic in my hand. Not sure if anyone's listening. Oh, and that's wide from Andrea. 30-40 break point in the second game. I think if they break here, Marc and Sergi, they'll certainly forget all about the controversy just gone. Yeah, we'll ask to get those windows cleaned again. The players very insistent on wiping their hands back on the window straight after we cleaned it, but we will pass on the message for sure. Nicely into the fence there from... And that's a good shot from Tim. Just out the reach of the outstretched arm of Sergi. Saving the break point. Juice one. Oh, great hustle from Andrea, superb. That softball really benefiting the chaser, and he's back in position. And I tell you what, he's got no right to win this game. Tim! And we think that point has gone the way of the receivers. We think it's ad out. We don't think Tim quite made that one. It was a great effort. Bob M, thank you. The controversy makes it even better. You're loving all the dirt. And why wouldn't you? As juicy as can be. Anyway, break point, we think. Andrea hustles back for this one. Still full of running. Sends that one up high. Great get from Tim. And as Marc looked for the angle, he put it in the top of the net. Juice 2. They're still voting on the poll, thank you so much. Still 2/3. You think Marc and Sergi are going to take the momentum of the second set into the third and go on to clinch victory. And into the net from Marc. Again, he throws his hands to the side. Speaking to Pal, I think he's saying that Tim is serving from too high. And you can be sure Pal will be keeping his eye on that for now. I think almost every rule in the book is being challenged here over the course of the 3 sets. And that is the game. 1-1, a crucial hold for Tim and Andrea. And this match showing no signs of speeding up.
That's a huge hold under pressure there. Tim and Andrea, a break point down, played really, really solid. Let's see if Sergi and Marc can regain their composure, because they've started off this third set really well, actually.
Just in from Andre, he defends that Bajada nicely, and again he's hurrying back. And he sent that one into orbit. Oh, just there, and he attacks now, not once but twice. Marc Bernils. What a swagger to his walk there as he goes back to the net to collect another ball. He did superbly well because Andrea Melisi had played that fantastically, taking advantage of his high lob fortune. Transition to the net superbly, but Marc Bernils got the better of him.
I think there was two things. Andrea played with a lot of energy, then went for the ball to us moving forward. Maybe if he'd have waited, Tim had the ball high in his forehand. That might have been the smarter decision, but Andrea played the point through energy, which I can understand in this moment.
Yeah. And Tim can't get that one back. A quick point for Sergi, which he'll be delighted to have. Bob, no, we probably won't put that poll on. But I tell you what, it's crossed my mind as they've walked out of the court together a couple of times to change ends that they might come to blows. Beautiful angle from Sergi, it just lands in. Tim underneath it. They're going to have sore necks from looking up at the sky at these high lobs so much. And that one goes long. (30-15). Just creeps over the net from Tim there. Just wide from Marc. He accepts that one. 30-all. Every single game now an absolute squeeze. Lovely attack from Sergi into the feet of Tim. Big fist pump as he goes 40-30.
And notice the guys don't want to use the glass as much now, because even there's lots of sweat on the glass, so when the ball hits that sweat, the ball's dying down quite a lot. The balls are so heavy as well, so when they can, they're trying to play the ball a little bit lower and a little bit flatter, so they reduce the risk of that low bounce off the glass.
Clips the net and out, so second serve coming now. Tim with his left peg, pops that one into the net. And it's a double fault. What a moment to do so. Bringing about juice one.
Anyone that wants a beer, the bar closes in 20 minutes.
Juice one. I think that clipped the line. There's much debate from behind the court here. Quick, Gabe, launch a poll. Was that one in or out? Hello, Katrina, supporting from Australia. She's cheering on Andrea and Tim. But they haven't won that game. 2-1, Sergi and Marc in the third and deciding set.
hope that helps you tonight.
Absolutely, yeah. I've never had a wee espresso, double espresso at the side of the court as my change of ends drink, but maybe tonight for the first time. Bob says, can you ask Jaakko if he thinks he can play at this level? In the comments. Jaakko, do you think you can play at this level? Jaakko says he's too drunk to answer, so there we go. So, at the start of the day, this place had beer, but Jaakko's arrived, and I think it's a dry club now. So, anyway, 15 love. 15 love. Oh, great defence from Marc. Nicely down the middle, they both go for a dig. Marc gets back there, superb defensive work. Tim must be surprised sometimes the ball's coming back when he thinks he's done enough to win the point. And he can't flick that one, just short. Just short, 15-0. Bob in the comments, you're getting a bit cheeky. Jaakko's been a great help today. I believe Jaakko can do whatever he puts his mind to. We're all just humans holding a racket. We're all capable. That's long from Marc there. The ball heads out. 30-15. If you fancy making a Scottish guy happy, give me a follow, Padel_commentator on Instagram. That'll be much appreciated. Give me a little extra confidence going onto the court when we play later this evening or early tomorrow morning. 40-15 after a beautiful bahara from Andrea and Tim. They've got 2 game points. Oh, that's a nice shot. Great dig from Andrea. That's high into the night sky from Marc. What a volley from Sergi. Certainly no sign of fatigue from him and his instincts, and that's just sailed wide. 2-2 in the third set. Marc under this one. Oh, lovely volley down the middle. Marc reads it superbly well. That's phenomenal play. Absolutely phenomenal. 15 love. He knew he was miles out of position and there was a half chance that they would gamble and go back to his side. But he went with the 99% and it paid off.
I also think it's
oh, beautiful backhand there from Marc.
It's also a big advantage here, serving first in this last set. If you're serving first, you're always staying ahead of the opponent, so it's great they can stay ahead, and that puts a bit more pressure on Andrea and Tim, having to serve to stay in the set each game.
Yeah, 100% agree. And that's just wide from Andrea. Jamie, thank you very much for the follow. Respect and good luck from a fellow paddle convert Scot living in Asia. You sound like a stand-up guy. Jamie, thank you very much indeed. Perhaps you're the only one listening that understands some of the nonsense I'm saying in the moments of in some of these moments when the game is too quick for my brain to understand it. Yeah, it's a nice shot from Marc. Pacey into Tim Brown. He can't get it back and it's into the net, and that is the game. 3-2. Marc and Sergi lead in this final set. The poll still showing 2/3 of you in favour of Marc and Sergi. We are edging closer to finding out. No breaks yet in the third set.
I would suggest this next 5 minutes again is pretty crucial. 3-2, and maybe a break at 4-2 to go to 5-2. So these next 5 minutes are going to play a real pivotal part in this last third set to see who comes out on top here tonight.
You've only got about 15 minutes left to say tonight, Matty. And then you'll have to say this morning.
This is way past my bedtime as a father.
Yeah.
Probably way past your bedtime as well.
Well, as a son, yeah. Back underway. Tim Brown serving 2-3 in the final and deciding set. Nice sneak by Andrea. He was on his own though. Tim stayed back. Lovely Chiquita. Good hand still, even though the legs will be tired. Lovely from Sergi. That's a nice shot from Marc, taking the pace off, plenty of spin. Andrea very comfortable in defence there. What a point this is. Oh, and eventually the mistake comes from Andrea. That must have been about 40, 45 shots at least in that rally, I would think. And the crucial one was the Bajada into the net from Andrea Melisi. Love 15. Oh, Marc puts it in the net. He can't believe he's made that mistake. It's 5-all. Well, whip that one up. Marc Bernils. Oh, and Marc's blasted that one long. think he might have been hoping to catch. Two hours and 30 minutes, I'm told, the game has been on for so far. Tim wins the point. Very well done indeed. 40-15. Yeah, my internet's just... And that's the game. 3-3 deciding set. We're getting closer. Andrea digs that out wonderfully well. Oh, good shot from Tim down the middle of 15. And they've got their energy back. Yeah, that's a good shot from Sergi. Unfortunate for Tim, big slip. Unfortunately, he didn't fall that heavily. Hello, Zenon, just seeing your comment now. Is that the famous Matty? Matty, are you famous?
So Zenon, maybe, yeah. So Zenon's a Australian friend of mine that actually lives in Jakarta. He was actually at the tournament last playing. So we all know Zenon.
That's wide from Tim. Oh, and Sergi gets that one wrong. He looks at his racket. They still have a game point, 40-30, as they look to go 4-3 up. And that's the game, 4-3. We'll take a quick pause. Back underway. I tell you what, it's 5 to midnight and we have just opened a coffee. 3-4, 15 love. Andrea and Tim serving. Great point this is, and it's into the net. It's 15-0. Cheers, that's good. Let's get fucked up.
Yeah, good to hear you, yeah? Pardon me.
Let's have a good time and enjoy the remainder of this match. That was the message coming to me by my colleague at the side. And that's gone wide from Marc. Every point here, an absolute battle of wits, of wills, of everything. $30-15, I believe. Just lands in from Andrea, wonderful touch. Even at this late stage of the match. Nice change of direction from Sergi. Marc underneath this, accelerates it, and he's fast back to the net there to regain his position. Super defense from Andrea. Bahada coming gently from Marc. Nice lob over Andrea's head. And good reflexes there, catching Andrea out by surprise. And that's landed in. How did he do that? Now the soft touch over Tim's head lands in. And that one goes out, 30-0. And some fist pumps from the Spaniards. Delighted with himself. Uh, 3-4, 30-0. And that's wide. Andrea with a mistake at a crucial stage of the match. Break point, 3-4 down, and oh my goodness, this would be a heck of a mountain to climb. Everest would have nothing on this if they were to concede the break. Tim underneath, nicely into the corner, Sergi Cam. Andrea back, just squeezes it over the net, and there's a volley. Oh, great defense from Andrea. Sergi into the net. Oh, and the crowd have their head in their hands. They can't believe the error that came there as he looked to force it into the corner. Juice one. Great point save by Andrea and Tim. As that lob went up, they must have had their hearts in their mouth. Marc covers it at the middle nicely. Big smash coming. Andrea's there. And it just stays in. Andrea again gets it back somehow. Tim digs it out. Sergi volleys cross court. Marc underneath this. Plays back to Tim. He's quickly back to the net. Cross to Andrea. Oh my goodness, the defense and the ball into the leg of Andrea wins the point again for Sergi and Marc. They are fighting unbelievably hard for every point, both teams. And it brings about another break point. Need nerves of steel here. Marc digs that one out somehow. Double-handed backhand putting pressure on Andrea, and Sergi into the net once more, and another break point saved. Juice two. A fist bump silently from Tim. Having a wee bit of a pick on Andrea at the moment. 130 of you watching, thank you so much. I'd encourage you to stick around for the last quarter final that'll be on after, but I'm sure you'll all be sensible and go to bed. Maybe a few of you elsewhere in the world will stick around to watch. Tim digs this one out. Juice 2, Sergi's on the floor. Marc covers nicely. And a big chance to attack from Andrea. He's quick to say sorry. And Marc can't help but have a wry smile there as he makes his way back to his mark. Oh my goodness gracious me. Ever the showman. Add in. And a chance for Tim and Andrea to make it 4-all. Oh, I think that was going out. Marc chose to take it, and that one beats Sergi. And a few mistakes creeping into his game. And Andrea's having a big shout to no one in particular. 4-all. Pumping himself up for the remainder of this match. They've gone off court to dry their hands. Pau showing his kinder side and allowing it.
Wow, that was an absolutely huge hold. 4 times I've had to fight back in this set to hold serve just to maintain their position, but brilliant hold from set points down, from break points down.
Oh. And that was a lovely little flick from Sergi there. What a clever little sausage he is, getting that one nicely into the gap. There's all sorts of sausages available. So.
Big, small, whatever, city.
Oh, Andrea, I think that was going to go out. Marc chose to take it. Oh my goodness. Oh, Andrea Melisi. Superb play. Well recognised by the crowd watching on. 15-all, and Marc and Sergi will have to give a little nod of approval for that one. Tim gets this one back on the counter-attack, and he's now backtracking from Sergi's lob. He sends this one high into the night sky. Deary me, does it twice. Oh, and that one clipping the fence, I had to say. Probably not the best time to hit the Bahada. Marc still felt confident to do so. And I think they're 15-30 down now. Some high lobs from Tim there, gaining their own orbit around the earth. When we have 2 break points for Tim and Andrea. We've been here before where they've had break points and not taken them, and we've been there before when they have taken them. What will happen this time? First serve goes long from Marc. Oh, and Andrea kicks the glass in frustration. You said he wasn't that much of an emotional Italian earlier, didn't you? But I think the evidence shows slightly different.
Still so young, Andrea. I think he's only like 24, 25, but he's unbelievably passionate. I think he knows what a big point that was to make that. The second serve return mid-court onto his forehand as well. He knows he should have made that ball, really.
And Tim playing a risky game there, going off on break point again to dry his face and hands. Still taking his time. I'd been tempted to serve there. Marc composing himself, trying to not think about that. A wry smile on the face of Tim there. I don't know if you can make that out. He digs that one out. Into Marc's backhand volleys across to take this one. Sergi rescues that. Oh, just takes the net cord and lands in. Marc's able to angle it downwards. The switch sides, Tim and Andrea. Wonderfully done from Marc again. 2 break points saved. I tell you what, that was cool under pressure, that last shot.
Unbelievable. Actually, Tim and Andrea got the net quite well there, but actually Marc and Sergi played better in defence. A few points earlier went for a few bahadas that missed, but played a lot more stable on the big point there.
Yeah. Just one. Just lands in, Marc's covering, and he sends that high. Andrea takes it, bounces high, and he's under pressure now. Sends up a lob, Marc underneath, goes towards Tim. And that's a good vibra. The ball's shorter now. Andrea fighting to stay in, and he can't get to that one. And from 2 break points down, Marc and Sergi have got themselves a game point. Lots of shrugging of the shoulders.
Yeah, just talking to themselves there, both saying let's put a bit more spin on the ball.
Yeah.
Because Andrea and Tim actually pushing quite far up the court on those balls, so when they rebound it's easier. But putting a little bit more spin on the ball makes it die in the corner and harder for Andrea and Tim to defend there.
Absolutely, yeah. We haven't seen as many bandejas stay low to the ground. And that's wide from Tim. There is the hold. They're in a sticky position, and they've got themselves out of it once more. It will be, who will it be? Tim and Andrea to serve next. 4-5 down in the deciding set. It could be the final game to come. We still could have a few more ahead of us. Who knows?
Getting really interesting there. The last 2 games, both teams had break points, but weren't able to quite convert. I think the servers played big points there, maintaining the net and playing the right decision shots. Now, Marc and Sergi, very experienced players. I think you'll start to see them push really hard these first 2 points, try and take control of this next game.
Bright-eyed and bushy-tailed over here. Ready for the conclusion of this match. As we say, it could be this next game. Could be a few more to come. I think we've had a quick bathroom break. Okay, Marc is back from his quick trip to the gents. And it will be Tim Brown to serve. 4-5. Obviously in a situation where he must hold serve to stay in the match. In the reverse, if Sergi and Marc can force a break here, it will be the end of the match. Nicely into the feet of Tim. He's under a bit of pressure now. Good reactions. Just lands in from Andrea. He held his hands up there. He thought he'd put it out. Nicely done from Tim. Good acceleration. 15 love. Andrea goes cross court. And into the fence from Tim, and it killed the ball dead. 30 love. Marc Bernils digs that out with a big cry. Andrea with a Bahada, and twice. Oh my goodness, the reactions from Marc Bernils, unbelievable there. Sergi between his legs, but it's into the net. And it's 40 love. Oh my goodness gracious me. Oh, and it just stayed in and no more there. 40-15. Good shot from Marc, just putting a little bit of extra zip. It must have landed about a centimetre in. Dipping just before the glass. That's wide. Puff of the cheek, Tim. He says that was a long way out. It was a bit high from Andrea. Oh, and it's nicely in. Tim's across the cover. And that's calmly done by Sergi Nogueras, 40-30. Still a game point. Tim towards Sergi's feet. Feet weren't moving quite as fast from Sergi there as they were earlier. He does well there though. Marc sends this one up high. Oh, a little dig out from his toes from Tim. But the flick of the forehand and the topspin on the ball takes it out of Tim's reach. And from 40 love, we're back to Juice. Juice one.
3 huge points from Marc and Sergi there. One of the biggest things I've been impressed with today is the level of defence, like under pressure. But all 4 players' defence has been phenomenal today.
Amazing timing, defending that serve off the side glass from Marc Bernils. They're under pressure in the point though. They look fairly comfortable in defence at the moment, sending up a succession of good lobs. And now Chiquita. Andrea with a lovely angle. And again, he goes through his legs. Sergi points at someone. Maybe Matty next. Matty, that was your fault, I think. So, game point from Tim and Andrea once more. It was Juice 1 there, so if they don't take this, it will be Juice 2. Tim across to take this one. Oh, and he's back in a position well, but Marc Bernils read the play superbly once more. It's not even just the way he finishes the point, it's the reading of the game before that, isn't it, Matty?
Fantastic. As soon as Sergi hit that ball down to his feet, he was already moving. Yeah. So Tim has no time to react to that ball to play it anywhere else.
Juice 2. First serve into the net. And Marc will be eyeing up this second serve. Good defence from Sergi. Marc just getting it back in play. Big smash into the feet of Sergi. A hand of apology from Andrea. And game point once more. Game point once more. Tim and Andrea trying to force 5-0. Goodness me. Down the middle. Sergi gets across, taking off his toes. Deals with that one nicely too. Oh, Tim's going to cover. He sends this one high. Marc underneath plays it too. Tim at the back of the court, and he slips that one past Andrea. The smash hasn't done it, and Andrea missed the counter attack into the side glass. And as Marc Bernils walks off the court to dry his hands, because we have upcoming a game point, break point, match point, golden point. Oh, goodness me. I think Marc Bernils usually takes the golden point. Marc does indeed signal. It's going to be, as I say, match point, game point, golden point, break point. All of these rolled into one. Oh, just. So the golden point, again, somewhat controversially, goes the way. The game goes on 5-all, I think. The umpires, referees, match officials at the side saying accept the call. Marc's reluctant to do so. Oh, it could never be simple, could it? So,
How long are we at now? Nearly 3 hours.
yeah, we must be almost at the 3-hour mark for the match. Just past 3 hours. Think of all the other things we could have done.
3 hours spent with you, David.
Oh,
What a
goodness
beautiful
me.
thing to do on a Saturday.
Goodness me, what crime did you commit for that punishment, eh? So, anyway, we're underway at 5-all. And whether it was gamesmanship from Marc or whether he truly felt cheated, he's got a lot of composure to get back here and recover from that disappointment. Love 15. Sergi does well. And that was well in before anyone says anything. 15-all. Just gets that back nicely. Done by Sergi Nogueras. 30-15 with a comprehensive smash out the court. Tim volleys that one back. Nicely into the fence. And that's a vicious smash from Marc Bernils. And it was the right moment to do it. 40-15. It wasn't just the smash, it was the stare down after. To say I ain't going anywhere. And Tim sends this one up. And Andrea advanced nicely, read it well, but the volley into the net. And they're going to have to come out under pressure again. 5-6. They will serve at.
A nice quick hold then. Actually lost the first point, Joe left 15 down, but played 4 good points in a row. Now this is the 6th game that Andrea and Tim are going to try and hold serve to stay in this match. You notice the last couple of games it's been really difficult to hold serve. So again, I think Marc and Sergi, first 2 points, will apply a lot of pressure here.
A little discussion here in the commentary box. We think this might now be the longest match in APPT history. It might be the longest match ever in history, paddle-wise. Who knows? I don't know if we know that record. We think it's competing with Tim and Shungo against Javi and Xavi in Bali Social Club. But whatever, Tim's involved with the long ones. Second serve, 5-6. Love all. Deciding set. Tim's across to take, and he's just a little out of position. He does well though. Beautiful from all 4 players actually. Some wonderful shot play. And Tim with a big tennis forehand. Getting the better of Marc there. He almost got a beautiful controlled touch back. It was 15-love as Tim and Andrea look to force a decided tie-break. And that's wonderfully done. Sailing in the night sky. Plenty spin on it. Nice disguise from Tim. Sergi's across the cover. Big gap now. No one's covering Marc. They're both chasing it about. Sergi goes now beautifully down the line. Oh, it's in the gap. And that's won the point for Tim. And Andrea, what a point. What a point that was. 30-love. And just a bit of lack of communication from Marc and Sergi. No lack of effort. Phenomenal play from both of them. Or phenomenal effort from both of them, but such coolness from Tim and Andrea. That one just lands in from Marc. Oh! And a little flick there. That's going to stay in. He does well to keep it in play. Sergi down the middle. Tim digs it out, and he's going to have to dig out another, but he can't, and he's on the floor again. Huge efforts in defence, and a big smile on the face from Marc. Happy with the winner. But I think enjoying the paddle overall.
Great comment. I think enjoying the contest.
Enjoying the contest. Do you play the man, do you play the ball?
I think they're all playing the men right now.
Yeah. The ball's second. 30-15. Andrea and Tim still with the advantage. Lovely low return from Sergi. Oh, Marc's to the net. He reads it well, but he roll it and it's into the glass at 48-15. The best writers couldn't write something. Oh, 40-15. It goes through the legs of Sergi, and that's the game. 6-0. Tiebreak. Deciding set tiebreak. It is just first to 7, remember. And the players keen to get underway straight away. The next match beginning to gather at the side of the court, as they know there is a time limit on this match now. Love all in the tiebreak. Surely there's a time limit on it. Indeed, you do have to win by 2. It's not a super tie break, just a normal tie break. Oh, and it's a lovely volley by Andrea into the middle. The Italian passion coming out to play now. And again, they get the mini break in the tie break on the first point. I have a funny feeling they did so in the first set as well, actually. A tie break they went on to win. Tim does well, getting back, using the glass. It's a great lob, actually. Oh, and Bahada from Tim. He gave it a shot, and it was into the top of the net. It would have been tough to control. And it's 1-1, mini break recovered. And I've got some armchair experts sitting next to me saying what Tim should have done there. Not easy when you're in the moment. 1-1. That's a nice shot. Beautiful shot from Marc Bernils. And the mini break is not only recovered, but switched. And it's now Marc and Sergi with the advantage. 2-1 they lead in the deciding set tie break. First to 7. Great defence from Andrea, not once but twice. They go to Tim now. Into the corner, stretched arm from Andrea. He does well. He almost got it. Marc's complaining about something. No idea what it is. But they lead 3-1. Sergi and Marc lead the deciding set tiebreak. Gripping stuff still. 3 and a bit hours in. A bit of extra zip, and that one's wide. (4-1). Marc's off the court, grabbing a towel. Drying his hands. Pau looks as though he might be tempted to say something. (1-4). They're just 1 point away from swapping when he probably could dry his hands. A little bit of gamesmanship here for sure. Now they've got the 4-1 lead. Pressure on Andrea and Tim. They must win both of these on their own serve. Marc quick to the net, expecting it, and he read it well. Oh, and he can't get purchase on that. Andrea with a big shout. Marc's got the pointed finger out. And after we settled into a pretty good game of paddle, The spicy bitterness has come back. The spicy bitterness, that doesn't make any sense, but I hope you know what I mean. Two, 4. Andrea to serve. Tim's forgotten their serving. Makes his way to the net now. And they have to win this point as well, Andrea and Tim, to keep the pressure on. Nice poach from Tim. Andrea on the Bahada, he does well, and he fires that fast. How did he get that back? And he sent it long. (5-2). And that's a big old break in the tie break this time for Marc and Sergi. They have 2 serves now and they need 2 points for victory.
Great court pressure there by Marc. Just how close he closed the net down there. Put Andrea under a lot of pressure. So I love on the big points, he puts so much pressure with his movement and positioning.
Just out on the first serve. Accepted by Marc. It's not many matches we have to clarify that someone accepts it out. It's out. Sergi focusing the play. It couldn't be a match between these two without that moment of controversy. Players on the side getting involved. Yes. Player at the side rightly being told to go away by the players on the court. It's not their job to get involved. There's no way we can see you rolling out.
I heard the fucking thing, so I don't know why I'm going to say it. I wasn't sure.
Do we need to call that match for the blue? Sept and Thierry Enla and Ignacio. What do we call it now?
How do you go friend by friend?
Jeez. Battle.
You can see the ball changing direction.
But from what, the fence or the glass?
Bring it
Oh
down.
yeah?
I mean, it's like really...
No?
So it looks more out than in there. That means it's... When you see a pixelated image like that, it's hard to see, right? They're not, they don't pull this out.
This is the longest way to
They
go
have to
about.
call this out.
This is the longest way about calling a replay on the point.
They're 100% not shaking hands. I told you this already.
Now
Now you know.
But, like, I mean, it's at the end of the day, it's going to be a replay. So
It's not. It's not because they hit a ball out earlier. In terms of like, no, it's out, it's out. They've been playing. And they said it's out. You can see Andrea's body language. He's not wanting to accept it.
yeah, but
So
like,
Sept and Thierry, Enlai, Ignacio, blue court. Sept and Thierry, Enlai
this
and
is
Ignacio.
too-
Blue court,
this can
please.
get really nasty because in essence, you can call the serve in the middle of the box out
Yeah,
there,
yeah, yeah.
and you could just be an absolute dick about it.
Unless the umpire intervenes.
Yeah, you just keep doing it then.
Can I put the mic there? Okay. Maybe. Put it close so I can hear. For them. And there's one save from Andrea. One match point save, 3-6. Still match points. And there is the game, set and match. 7-3 in the tie break.